مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وبعد. Dear respected elders and beloved asatiza and fellow classmates, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Inshallah, today I will be discussing a very important topic that impacts us all. Education, ilm, knowledge. I'm sure some of you have come across the famous quote that the pen is more mightier than the sword. In most cases, this is correct. Because with the pen, with the sword, you don't win the heart. But with the pen, you win the heart. With the sword, you don't convince people. With the pen, you convince people. Victory with the sword is short term, whereas victory with the pen is long term. If we look back to the first revelation of the Quran, the first thing to ever be revealed to the Prophet ﷺ in Surah number 96, the first verse was Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Read in the name of the one who created you. Now, some may pose a question, why did Allah choose to command the Rasulullah ﷺ to read? And why was this the first thing that he addressed? And when we look at the civilization that the Quran was revealed to, and we look at the things that the people were doing of that time, the people of that time, they would treat other human beings lower than animals. They would, as we look at in Surah Takwir, Surah number 81, وَإِذَا الْمَوْءُودَةُ سُئِلَتْ بِأَيِّ ذَنْبٍ قُتِلَتْ. They would bury their own daughters alive. And they would indulge in such acts which were extremely prohibited in Islam, like in the Quranic ayah, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لَا تَقْرَبُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَأَنْتُمْ سُكَارَى حَتَّى تَعْلَمُوا. They would be indulging in gambling, in alcohol and other things. So you would have thought that this would have been one of the main and one of the first things Allah would have approached in the Quran. But instead, Allah decided to command the people to read. And the reason for this is that from reading in the name of the one who created you and reading the Holy Quran, you attain pure sound knowledge. And with pure sound knowledge will eradicate all evils in society. It will uproot all evils in society. Because with pure and sound knowledge, you will no longer bury your daughters alive. You will no longer be disobedient to your parents. You will no longer disobey Allah. So this is the reason Allah chose to command the people to read. Because Allah decided to target the foundation. Because from reading, that would solve all other problems. So Allah decided to command the people to read. Moreover, if we look at the story of the conversion of Umar radiallahu anhu, it is a beautiful story and a very uplifting and motivating story. And unfortunately, time does not permit for me to tell the whole story, but I would advise yourselves to look it up, and maybe inshallah in another gathering we can talk about it. But I want to look at a certain point in the story when Umar radiallahu anhu, he was set out to kill the Prophet ﷺ. Then he was confronted by another companion, and I'm missing out some details, but he was confronted by another companion. They said, have you checked your own family? So he went to his sister's house. Then after he arrived in his sister's house, he heard them reading Quran. Then they didn't want to tell him that he was reading Quran. Then he saw the Quran and he wanted to read, but they didn't let him read it. They said that he had to have a shower, so he first had that. Then he came back and he started to read the Quran. He started to read Surah number 20. And it is said, and it is narrated, that when Umar radiallahu anhu began to read the Quran, his heart changed. Allah changed his heart. And as we know, after that, the rest is history. The man he went on to become is history, we all know. And what I want to emphasize is that Umar radiallahu anhu only became Muslim because he could read and write. And people of that time, there were not many people who could read and write. But because Umar radiallahu anhu could read and write, he became Muslim. Moreover, Imam Ghazali rahmatullahi alayhi states that a person cannot truly appreciate Allah until they know the anatomy of a person. Because if you look at the anatomy of a person, then you will understand and you will see the complicity and complexity of a person. And that will naturally increase your iman in Allah. Let me draw your attention to a famous Chinese proverb, and it goes as the following. If you plan for a year, sow rice. If you plan for 10 years, plant trees. But if you plan for a lifetime, educate people. Education is the investment. Jazakumullahu khairan for listening. May Allah all give us the ability to practice on the little that has been said. May Allah give us all beneficial knowledge and give us the ability to practice upon our knowledge. May Allah unite us in this world and reunite us in the hereafter. Ameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
يا نبي سلام عليك، يا رسول سلام